What is going on, everyone? This is Brandon, aka the Port City Attorney. Today we're going to start day one of a new weekly series called Last Week on TikTok. Basically, these videos have either been sent to me or I came across them, thought that they were funny. I'm going to start recapping them. We're going to talk about some of the legal aspects of it and just kind of talk about some of the shit that we see. As always, no legal advice here, but hey, you're always free to go to my DMs on Instagram and schedule a free consultation. Happy to answer people's questions or point them in the right direction. Little bit of an update for me. YouTube's I'm starting to make that a focal point. I'm pretty excited about that. Business has been going pretty well. Recently went out on my own about 6 months ago, so we're building a business from scratch. I'm going to start detailing a little bit of that here on the channel. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know how you like the format, if there's anything I should do different. It took me about 3.5 to 4 hours to figure out OBS today. So that was a treat for my illiterate ass when it comes to technology. So without further ado, let's hit the first video.
Spilled a lot of tea at dinner today, so I had my friends sign my NDAs.
So I actually like this a lot. Maybe not necessarily for your friends, right? But think about some recent situations that have come about. You know, if Drake had every woman that came through his hotel room or to his house signed an NDA, he wouldn't be potentially facing some of the issues that he has. So her having all of her friends sign the NDAs, I'm fine with that. I kind of like that. I had a client one time who had suggested doing that because from what I understand, I think Chris Brown actually has every woman that comes to his house sign an NDA. Now he's not like, I wouldn't model my behavior after him, but as far as liability is concerned, he's got it down, I think.
Only in Vegas.
That's some dancing, fighting MJ right there. All right, so obviously this is an assault, right? The problem when you see video clips, you don't see what happened right before or leading up to it. But it looks like it was kind of like mutual, right? There's some sort of mutual combat going on. I don't know that I'd be messing with impersonator MJ here in Las Vegas. Now, Homeboy's got his arm wrapped up in NJ's jacket. I don't know if impersonator Michael Jackson here has done some jiu-jitsu, but it looks like he's got some experience, at least with some gi. He's sort of working towards kind of a triangle here, I think. I don't do a whole lot of BJJ, and by that I mean I've been to like one class, but I do appreciate the UFC and jiu-jitsu, and so if I was wrong, please call me out. Oh. And he ended it with the rear naked choke. I can appreciate that. I feel like if you're in Las Vegas, you got to be able to defend yourself as a street performer. Nonetheless, assault is assault. I'm sure the cops came pretty fast after that. I wouldn't be surprised if they both went to jail. This is one of those situations where a lot of times people get in fights and you can argue self-defense, but that's not going to keep you from getting arrested. That's only going to help you not get convicted. So it's important to remember that even if you're in a situation where you're defending yourself, you got to remember that's not going to keep you from getting arrested. No tips that any lawyer can give you is ever going to keep you from getting arrested. The important thing is that it can keep you from getting convicted. Because if you don't get convicted, you can absolutely 100% get that arrest expunged off your record if you don't have a criminal history and you meet some sort of other guidelines out by your state. So they both probably went to jail, even though MJ was probably not in the wrong. I don't know. Didn't see everything before that, so, I could be wrong. Could be 100% wrong. He could have been the instigator. This is the Broncos Seahawks. Do they play this week? Oh. Okay, so that right there, that turned from a verbal confrontation where there's really not any sort of criminal liability to a physical one. Although he did not injure him or anything like that. Guy in the number 10 jersey hit him with enough force that it caused him to fall down, maybe spill his beer. Now, it's probably negligible, right? But assault is an unwanted touching, all right? So that includes physically touching, that includes spit, anything like that. So again, it's hard to break these videos down when you don't see anything right before it. But I can tell that was an assault because he's getting chased after by security. I would be very surprised if he didn't get hauled out and get arrested. At least he got trespassed. Look, I've been drunk at games before, and it's all, everything gets kind of in the heat of the moment. But I would just say don't get into a physical altercation, especially when there's a cop sitting right there. Best thing to do is walk away. Second best thing to do is say, let's take this out into the parking lot. Okay, so a burn like that in that situation, there is some potential heavy liability when it comes to the person who started that burn. Even if it was a controlled burn at first, you thought that you had it isolated. Obviously, the wind conditions and the dry fucking grass do not mix. If that fire were to spread to that really, really dry wood line that you saw right behind it, they could be liable for everything that happened after that. So if that went and started a forest fire, think back to California a couple years ago when those huge forest fires were going on, right? They pinpointed it to one person and they were able to charge him with arson and all the damages inflicted and included after that. You could have a hefty, hefty bill and a judgment and probation fees after you get out of prison. Listen, if it's dry, don't burn shit, right? And if you gotta burn shit, at least take the proper precautions and make sure you dig some sort of fire break or something like that. Obviously, homeboy and homegirl did not do that. If you were to cause an incident or an accident like that, remember that you could be liable for everything that happens next, including death of a person, right? And so that could be some sort of negligent homicide, which is typically involuntary manslaughter, right? But you don't want that on your conscience, so maybe just don't burn when it's fucking dry.
Ask where the water lines are in your car before handing a picture or TV.
Okay, so if you're in an apartment or condo like this person was, and you are a renter, you have certain things that you can and cannot do, right? A lot of times in your rental contract, so I used to own some rental properties, right? I still own one. One of the provisions of the rental contract is that you're not going to make any holes in the wall. You're not going to hang anything or anything like that. Now, obviously, it's something that's overlooked a lot, and a lot of landlords let it happen. I let it happen. But you have to use reasonable care and due diligence so you don't hit a water main like that. The problem with this is if it's flooding on this side, is it doing the same on the other side? And what's it doing in between the walls? This could cause an immense amount of damage. And depending on your renter's policy, your rental insurance policy, that might not cover it. So this could be a breach of of the lease. And this could be a triggering event that could cause an eviction plus a suit with the eviction for damages, for all the damages sustained. Those look like hardwood floors. That could be an issue. So remember, if you're going to be hanging like a TV, which is, I assume that's the only thing that he could have been hanging to make that big of a freaking mess. Like if he was trying to like put some lag bolts in there. Make sure you use a stud finder and make sure that you at least know where the main water cutoff for the entire building is. Because while he's just holding there trying to, soak it up with those towels, someone should be finding that main water break and freaking shutting that sucker off. I feel like that has to happen immediately. All right, so that's all I got for today. This was a trial run. I just figured this freaking software out. I'm going to be doing more of these because I enjoy them. Please let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share. Send me videos. If you got videos, you can send them to me. You can DM them to me on Instagram. You can email me at brandon@portcityattorney.com. I appreciate you stopping by. Take care, y'all.